Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We are here going live on YouTube. Go ahead and mute me out. There you go. Mute me out so there's no echo. Hey, ooh, we are here for the final version of the definitive insecure chat. You know, the chat where we get to watch the episode two, maybe three times, read up on it. And so when we talk about it, we can talk about it in a way that is very insightful and not necessarily reactionary. Okay. So we just watched, we're going over episode 7 right now. And I have just an outstanding panel of insecure fans here. I have Amber for the first time since since last year in the building. You got Ajwa, aka A Boogie. You know what it is, man. You got the East Coast. DC is representing tonight. And then we also have Marie. That's right. There you go, for sure, in the building.
Haiti in the house.
Haiti representing. I was gonna say it. You gotta be patient with me. You know I was gonna say it. Haiti representing. You know what it is. And we got Keith representing LA, of course. Whoop. Okay, for sure. And then we got Jason DeWitt. You know what I mean, from East Oakland, California. You know, yeah.
In East Oakland right now. What's up?
You know what it is. You feel me? Okay, so
Right now.
So it's going down. We also have Ariel. So if you hear a voice in the background, that voice is coming from none other than Miss Ariel. We are grateful that she is on the line as well. Okay, you all know how this is. For my people who are in the chat, go ahead and get super active. Pose questions. People are going to have questions, and it's all good. We're going to toss the questions around tonight. I'm going to try to share this microphone as much as can be possible, right? Okay. So check it out. First question: what do people think overall of this episode?
Fun. Girls' night. Man, I love that. That was a win. That was a win. Um, Healing, I had so many just positive emotions about this episode. And then just happiness across the board. That's all I saw this whole episode as, happiness.
Yes. I also, Kikwa, loved the episode. I thought it was one of the most well written and executed episodes. It literally took place either in Issa's house or in Condola's house. But I thought we got to see a different view, right, of her apartment. Like there was so much movement. And the director actually talked about that in the wind down. And she's been with the show for all the seasons, right? And so I just thought it was a beautiful representation of the family, yeah, that they built as sisters, and then just the growth. I think you're absolutely right. In addition to like splice in the conversation with Nathan and Condola and Lawrence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. What else? What else we got? Anyone else? Any other takes on the app?
I would say that it's my favorite episode of the season thus far, for all the reasons that Amber stated. It was beautifully written, beautifully shot. I love all the shout outs to the Black female designers. It's everything that Insecure does, I think, is it feels like an ode to like Blackness, and a love of Blackness. And then this one celebrated friendships, which I think are difficult, especially as millennials. It could be hard to kind of like develop and sustain. And I think that it was just really beautiful to see like healthy bonds kind of form, and just how real they were with each other. I loved Molly. Molly was MVP of the episode to me.
We're coming back to that.
We're gonna come back to that. Yeah, like just everything. And then they even left us with a cliffhanger. I was like on the edge of my seat. I laughed a lot. Kelly was like, in rare form that episode. So there's just so much to say, but overall, it's my favorite episode of this season.
I think you're right. And I was going to bring this up, but since you said it, Marie, it was said on Twitter, Yvonne Orgy, she said that this episode was an ode and a celebration of the ladies' night clip from Waiting to Exhale. I don't know if you've seen that, if you remember that, but the four ladies, they get together and I thought it from the clothing, literally, that they wore to kind of work, homage to the outfits. And then it was just a beautiful representation, and that was intentional. I think you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yo, I can't
I
lie.
agree.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I was just gonna say I agree with everything that's been said. Like, this episode gave me like sisterhood and like comfort and warmth, and like it's nothing like getting together with your good girlfriends and like really just unhashing some things that are like deep inside and getting everybody's perspective, or just them calling you out on your stuff. I thought that was beautiful. And then also to see Condola and Lawrence co-parenting, and I'm excited for that growth because of, the rockiness that there has been in the past. So this was one of my favorite episodes too.
Okay, that's Ariel talking, by the way. Okay, for sure.
And I was happy what Ariel was saying, because the episode where Condola and Lawrence were not getting along depressed me to the point where I couldn't come to the insecure chat, because it made me feel so badly as a guy. So I missed that week. I was like, where the heck was Jason, behind the couch crying because Lawrence couldn't get Condola to be nice to him as far as not breastfeeding the baby, but people fooding the baby. And she wouldn't let Lawrence give the baby any food. So when I saw them on this last episode and they could actually speak to one another and be cool to one another, because that stuff is still inside you, even though you may argue about other things, the cool elements are still inside of you, and they brought those cool elements out, and it made me feel good.
Yeah. And if I may add, I feel like this is one of the episodes that really showed their growth, like each person's growth, like the growth of the sisterhood as a team, like as a unit, and the growth of like individual person, like the persons in that sisterhood, because it in previous episodes, Issa probably wouldn't have listened.
Come on.
Molly, like she would have done her own thing, and even
I think you're absolutely right. Or Molly would have gone behind and done something. You remember when she stopped old dude from giving flowers to Issa? You know what I'm saying? So the fact that she was having a conversation with her, I think this. What do you think?
Yeah,
maybe approach it. That was growth for Molly too in the friendship.
Exactly. And that was the next thing I was going to say.
Hold on, because that's a whole thing. Let's set that up properly. That was a thing. That was a juicy thing. So what they are speaking of is, of course, where Issa wanted to call Lawrence, right?
Right.
So Issa wanted to call Lawrence. They had all been drinking and smoking. She wanted to call Lawrence, and Molly intervened and said, "No, girl. If sober Issa wants to call him tomorrow, then do it. Don't do it." And Issa, she said, "You're being inconsistent." Remember, we talked about you being inconsistent.
Because that's her MO, right? Her MO is impulsiveness. I feel this, I'm gonna do it. And like Molly actually, and Molly didn't. And this is another thing that I was going to mention, is that it was actually growth for Molly too, because Molly would have said it in a way that would have been abrasive. Like Molly can be very abrasive, but in her growth too, you can tell that her abrasiveness is not, like, she's mature. She could actually say, hey, if this is what you want to do later, maybe you can do that. Old Molly would have been like, no, you shouldn't do that. If you do it, you're stupid. Why would you ever want to do that? Like, it would have
facts.
It would have been a thing. So
burn bridges.
What'd you say?
She would have been burning bridges along the way, but
She
she
would
would have
have
been.
been. She would
She
have
would have
been
been right. She would have been right.
mentally assaulting people on the way, just because she's just abrasive. So I think it just showed the growth of each individual person, and as a team, the growth in that too. So I appreciate it, and even the growth in Condola and Lawrence. The last thing I want to say is I wish that they showed how that growth happened. But then again, the season's not over, so maybe they're going to show that. But I think it would be very important to show how that growth happened, how they went from that point A of just being so abusive really to each other to like this point where they've grown to become better co-parents. I hope they show that so that other people can learn from it, because it's rampant in our community.
That's pretty, yeah, that was a drastic shift. As Jason said earlier, but let's stay in the Molly moment now, because Marie said earlier, Molly is the MVP of the episode. And I would imagine you were speaking to that. And what else led you to believe that Molly's the MVP of the episode, Marie?
So a couple of things. She was just there for everyone, like all of her friends. Like when Tiffany there was like a very emotional moment when Tiffany shared about her and Derek moving to Denver, like the omelet. And like Molly helped to kind of like, pivot a little bit to, kind of help them celebrate, because everyone's feeling really down. And when she was talking to her boo Torian on the phone, and just how she was like, it seems like she's leaning into that relationship, which seems a lot healthier than her past relationships. I still want to see what she does with Dro, because he did call. But definitely the highlight was just how she was there for her friend, because I think that the growth that I noticed with the group is that, how sometimes your friendships can be superficial. Mm-hmm. You may not want to step on any toes or hurt anyone, but it was the way that they all kind of dealt with like some very, heavy questions, and how they were honest with each other. And, they gave each other really good advice and feedback.
I think you're right, Marie. If you think back to, I think 3 episodes ago when they were at the reunion, and I remember that Kelly and Molly had a conversation. When do you know that you're back, that the friendship, is back where you were? And she said that, you can be open with each other, you can be present, but it takes time. Like you're going to be at that surface place first. So I think, as you said, she was very present with her friends. Like even when she was sharing about the update on her mom, she allowed herself to be vulnerable for them to support her. And then, like you said, she was there with Tiffany, and then even Issa. When she shared that she saw them in the hospital, you remember she said, well, what happened? How are you? I was like, okay, Molly, I see you showing up. And, I think that was really important, like you said. Yeah. And then she had the line of the night. You remember when she started to cry? She said, more than ever, like this year I've learned it's important to be intentional with the people you love, or something like that. So I think you're right. She was the MVP.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. For sure. Anyone else? Anyone else on Molly and the role that she played in this episode? Anyone else on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, yeah, it was really nice to see Molly come from a loving place. She is just so, I think, Adra said the correct word. She's just abrasive, especially even harder on Issa. So I liked it that she just took a little bit more kinder way of trying to, just communicate. All of that has just, each episode has just been so much, love from Molly. And even with her, I know the situation happened with her mother, but I've just seen Molly just learn how to really be softer with the way she handles Issa and the rest of the friends. I just really like to see that we can see a kinder side of Molly, because she was really, even just being open now, just her whole vulnerability. I just really love seeing Molly in this space. Hopefully it stays.
For the next 3 episodes, right? Yeah. Now, Molly, my goodness, I think that she is the most dynamic and layered character. I would say, the most controversial in my devotion to Insecure. The one that is most likely to get a reaction out of me. And I think, yeah, Marie brought up before, she got a phone call in the midst of her, receiving advice and giving advice and being a best friend and growth and all the good stuff. She got a phone call from the person that is I think, the most despicable character ever on Insecure, which is Dro. I have a serious disdain for Dro, and just like just what he brought out of just their interaction was, I pledged to stop watching the show after, I would think it's season 3 or something, the bathroom sex. I was just like, oh God, I was just like, I'm not watching that crap. I was
Dang,
so upset.
you
Like,
was
what is happening
mad.
with this wife there? What is happening? So, but that person drove, hit her up. What do people think? Are we going to see Dro in these next episodes? Is she going to have to battle the temptation of Dro? Because Dro steps in these moments where Molly, remember the first time they hooked up, it was because she was upset at her dad, that her dad cheated on her mom 30 years ago, and Dro stepped in, I got you, girl. And so this is kind of like this is what he does. And so I'm thinking, Molly, with all of her positiveness, she's gonna have to deal with this temptation. I think they're gonna bring Dro back. What do people think about that call? What do people think about that possibility?
I think the devil is busy to have Dro call when he did. Like, what did Kelly say? The game was like Jenga, so all type of demons were gonna show up. And yeah, I don't know. I'm with you, Roger. Like, he's despicable. Like, please. He shouldn't even be a thought. I'm wondering where they're gonna go with this. I hope that she doesn't entertain him at all. Yeah.
Well, Dro is family. Dro lived across the street, grew up with Issa and her brothers, the whole family. He know her mom and her daddy. And I don't know. They did say, is he calling about your mom? And she's like, I don't know. I just think that Dro, that's why he's not blocked. I mean, because
that's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, she didn't block Dro. Like, don't call me no more. The way they ended, but he's forever like in her life because her brothers might bring him around or something like that. So I feel like it was when I seen that he called, I'm like, my first thought was it must be him just trying to reach out because of the situation with our mom, and he trying to make amends in this way so he can get back on that friend zone with her, but I didn't want to read too much into it because they didn't give us enough for me to like really.
That's assuming best intentions. Let me say that.
Yeah.
I like Roger and Marie. I'm not here for that because we saw, what is that, over the course of 2 seasons that they had this back and forth with Dro, right? And he was very emotionally manipulative. And at one point, you remember, she was like, what do you want? What do you want? And he had talked about it being an open relationship, but we don't know if it really was. So I just still see it as manipulative. Like, she's going through a tough time and he's trying to sneak back in there. I hope she makes a hard decision, a boundary when it comes to her heart, because knowing Molly, she has to do that. And I think that she's stronger now than she was before. So.
Ooh, so
yeah. And another thing I want to add is, like, how do you know how strong you are unless you're tested? You don't. And so for me, I welcome it. I'm just like, come on. Like, sometimes you got to show out to yourself. Like, you got to be like, yeah, I did that. Like, yeah, you called and I didn't care. Like, so for me, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Like, I'm like, yes, let's go. Like, okay, call. And then Molly's gonna be able to, because Amber's right, or was it Kikwa? I think Kikwa is the one that said that he is family. He is family, and sometimes you just have to. I'm not gonna say overlook it, but like, maybe they can get over that and keep him at bay, but like he's always going to be around. So she may be able to find a mature way to deal with him in a way that doesn't affect her, you know, the way that he used to. But yeah, Joe's for the streets.
Yeah.
I agree with all of that. I also too welcome it just because I feel like, first let me back up. I think she should contact Dr. Rhonda before she even entertains taking the call. Like, you need to talk to your therapist before you go ahead and do this, because she's had so much growth. But I too welcome it just to make sure that the growth is like actually sticking, because we don't want to repeat those lessons over and over and over again, which Molly has continued to repeat the same thing over because she was not changing. But yeah, he's for the streets. Like everybody said, I agree. I'm not here for Joe, but I do want to see that like play out and where they're going with it.
I want to protect her peace because he makes her weak. And so I want her.
I have a problem with that train of thought because, like,
Talk about it.
what makes you weak should be the motivator for you to become stronger. There's always going to be something that makes you weak, but it should be a motivator. I mean, at least be on the journey to it. I'm not saying you're going to overnight be stronger, but like at least be on the journey to becoming stronger.
So basically face your fears, right? You just got to walk right into your fear. Don't run away from it. Just stand up,
At some point, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a good measurement. Like, how far have I come? Or have I gone anywhere?
And
is it surface level or is it deep?
I also want her to have room in her heart and her life for touring. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get there, but.
Yes, let's get there now. Go ahead.
Sorry, who?
Torian.
The work.
I know there was disagreement. But the way she lit up, the way she was like really into that conversation on the phone, and I feel like things might progress in the next 3 episodes to see kind of a relationship build. We won't see like them right off into the sunset. I think that's unrealistic. But I do see her and Torian kind of putting down some roots for a healthy relationship. So we'll see.
I don't know. Torian is not the one. He is all about his career, getting to the top. I'm not letting anything mess that up.
You don't think there are layers to him, just like there's layers to Molly's? I get the feeling there are layers to him.
I'm with you. They make a cute couple. I'm not going to deny that. They would be, power players. I just think Molly is in a vulnerable place. He's being nicer to her. And I think she's not really looking at it carefully,
Yeah,
especially
I said
with her friends. Like, go all in. And I'm like, that's her coworker.
I think, and I said seeds for a relationship. I don't think that they'll like necessarily get into a relationship right off into the sunset, but I do see them kind of progressing towards a deeper relationship, right? Than what they have in the office, because it started out like a competitive, and then this season we see them relying on each other now at work, like collaboration, but then also emotionally relying on each other. So that makes me think that they're moving in that direction. So we'll see.
Yeah, I would hope they be.
To be fair, we've only seen him at work. Like, I'll be honest, like my I wouldn't even say persona, but like who I am at work is definitely different than who I am in my personal life. And I think that some people can compartmentalize so well that they have that down packed, where you see someone else in their personal life and they don't have that aggressive, like, go-getter kind of mentality, where they can be a bit more of a team player in their relationship. So all we've seen really is him at work. We haven't seen any relationship he's had. And for him to be able to even initiate that conversation of what's going on with you, I think that he shows that he has capability to be vulnerable, and to actually be softer and caring.
All right. Okay.
Right. It's so funny.
No, I think it looks like we're building up towards a showdown between Torian and Dro. And it also looks like a showdown between Lawrence and Nathan. And so they're both going to have people battling for their attention. Issa and Molly, I'm speaking of. In regard to Torian, yeah, I mean, she likes him. She likes him a lot. The girls support that union. But it's really going to test Molly's growth, right? Because what does she want it? Does she want it down and dirty? Or is she in a place where she can now build and sustain love? And does she have all the pieces together for her to carry that out? With Molly, we've been knowing her for a long time now. We gonna have to see. We will.
What did you say about Lawrence and Nathan?
Yeah, man. So about that, let's go there. It ended with the episode ended with a phone call from Lawrence. Lawrence called Issa. Issa did not.
After he called her back, because she did make that call and Molly grabbed the phone and hung it up.
Whoa!
So she did. Yeah, you missed it.
Are we all in agreement? Are we all in agreement that happened? Was it a call back or a call? So I didn't.
It was a call back. It was a call back.
Thank you, Ariel. Thank you, Ariel, because she was calling and Molly said, "What are you doing?" She says, "I'm calling Lawrence," and then she grabbed the phone and hung up.
Yeah, it rang. It rang on the side of Lawrence. So it registered that it's a missed call. It did ring.
So he called her back, but she didn't answer.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that. I thought he just called out the blue. Oh, that changes things.
Yeah.
So hold up. So she didn't take Molly's advice after all.
No, she did.
No, Molly's advice came after.
Okay. All right. Okay. Oh my God. Oh, wow. That's why you check in with other people. So,
yeah, she messed up.
Okay.
My girl, she messed up again.
She messed up because she called him initially to begin with when she was drunk.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's all right.
Drunk and impulsive.
But she's impulsive.
And once again, being inconsistent.
Yes.
There you go. Oh, yeah. All right, hold on. Let's back it up a little bit because let's talk about Lawrence and Condola, because you were talking about before they seem to be in a really good place right now. We don't know how that happened. Jason said that made him feel good that they're in a good place. What did people make of that? Did that seem genuine? Do you think that will last? Because I think possibly it seems like the opportunity.
Yeah, he froze, but
yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're ready. I think they're ready
option for romance is still open. Lauren, be there forever. So
broke up a
so
little
what
bit,
do people think about that? My bad. But basically, what do you think about that? What do you think about Lawrence and Condola? I just open it up.
Well, no, Lawrence, the option for romance has presented itself. Remember, he grew 3 inches before she kicked Issa into the trash.
You're not gonna forget that part, huh?
Yeah, I will say on another note, the conversation they had was really moving. That whole sequence of events, he shows up with the baby, she greets him at the door, she invites him in, he asks for a very tangible thing. Do you want help with this? And she says yes. Okay. And then they go through the process. He goes up, comes back down, and she's feeding the baby. And you remember there was some tension there about like the process of feeding and all those things. So again, he shows her, this is what I do with him. So she's acknowledging his skills for parenting, right? I thought that was an area of growth. And then they go deeper and they talk about I regret like how I was with when the baby, was you know, in the period of gestation as the baby was being, developed. And she said we both had a learning curve. I thought that was a really mature moment for her, you know. And then at the end, I was like, is there some like romantic feelings? Kind of like, is it gonna happen? But then he said, I'm gonna go. And I thought, okay, again, that was a mature place for them to be like, just because we're getting along, we're co-parenting better, that doesn't mean that we have to jump into a relationship again. So I thought overall it was a very moving scene. And when she said, what was it she said? You're really good as a father or something like that, that line.
You're a good father.
You're
Yeah.
a great
Yes.
father.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because as you like, I was so upset with Condola. Like I was heated with Condola and
Me
his
too. Me too.
treatment
Me
of
too.
Lawrence. Like I was
Me too.
so mad.
Me too.
Hold on,
Me
hold
too.
on, hold
Me
on.
too. Me
Let's
too.
stop for
Me
a
too.
plug. Check out Unlearning. Check out Unlearning at Ajwa on YouTube, and she goes all in on Condola.
All the way in. I went all the way. Y'all should check the video out. Like I was actually after I watched it, I was like, ooh, I went in hard. But that's exactly how I felt. I really felt like she was abusing her power, this power that we get for being the last, decision maker on if we're going to carry a baby or not. Like I felt like she was abusing that because she was the one that made the choice. Although they laid down and they still, were irresponsible. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that. Check the video out.
Where's unlearning? Where is that? Where is that?
She's
Unlearn.
She got a YouTube page. We'll put it in the chat. We'll put it in the
Yeah.
chat soon, but she's got a
I was
YouTube.
going to
Yeah.
ask it. Put it in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. Go
I think you're right, Adjua, but I think that what came up for the conversation was a lack of trust on both parts. And they were trying to figure it out on both parts,
I didn't
and
see
so
it that way. I didn't see it that way at all. I didn't see it as a lack of trust. I saw it as you made a decision. You sounded confident about your decision. And now you are trying to manipulate him to feel terrible about his own process, his individual process of acceptance when it comes to this pregnancy. And that's how I felt about it. Like I felt like she was being manipulative. But anyway, yeah. So to see the growth of that, right? To see the growth of that and for her to actually admit that he is a good father and the fact that he actually could get the baby to eat and she couldn't, that was so profound to me and actually warmed my heart because the thing about it is like we all have a journey that we're going on. There are days where I'm not going to be in acceptance of something that you're in acceptance of, but the point is to give me space to grow. And the fact that he grew enough for her to actually even not be the best quote unquote parent in that moment, that was beautiful for me to see. And I hope that, a lot of our men, because our men are trying, right? A lot of our Black men are trying to be fathers. And sometimes the mothers try to bamboozle, these fathers because we have a bit of power. We have power in the court system when it comes to domestic issues and juvenile and domestic issues. We have power, and that kind of it tends to go to our heads a little bit and can force us to be a bit abusive with that power. So I was just very impressed to see that being depicted, and hopefully our men can also see that and be encouraged that
yeah. I
yeah.
appreciate you, Adwa. I think for me, what I've seen the last few episodes of Condola is her support system. Like she talked about her mom, her sister, those people really stepping.
now though. Did y'all?
Yes, which I think, like Audrey will talk about Wonder What's Happened. She said that's a F you follow, as in if you F up, I want to see it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's interesting. But I think that for me, it was an issue of trust and like, again, with him being inconsistent, as we said, about his role and then being a lack of trust from her about him stepping in, she had to have a lot of the parenting responsibilities for various reasons. Some of them because that relationship was fractured, right? For various reasons. But I think you're right. On the other side of that conversation, I do sense that there's more trust and recognition of the fact that they need each other to co-parent. So that's positive.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think that what was so beautiful about the scene to me was their scenes together was just the emotional intimacy that was like being cultivated because they're going to need that, right? Like whether they're together or not, that child is they need to grow into a space that is safe, right? Where they're co-parenting in a healthy way. And I even like the intimacy was so strong to me. I wondered if like they were going somewhere with it. I felt that maybe Condola was, I think she had like the love eyes, I think she had the little, the little googly eyes. I was looking at her, I'm like, girl, you want that old thing back? But I don't know. I thought it was very, I don't know, it was well done. I really appreciate it. Go ahead, Ariel. I know you were about to jump in.
Ariel, did
I was just gonna say I want to preface this that I was not completely on Condola's side, but then when Lauren said, just keep me posted, that kind of like set a tone of like, what does that mean? Are you trying to be present? Are you not trying to? Essential information comes up. And so I kind of feel like that was probably left a bad taste in her mouth. And so I think him moving back to LA and actually being a lot more present is really what's kind of softened her to being like, okay, you know what? I can trust you more. And, I do want to see where you are as a parent, and you can go on and go. Sorry guys, my kid is in the background, but can go off and have the baby on your own and like take him for a night or whatever. And not to say that that's right or wrong or whatever, but I think that that's where she was coming from with that piece. I was so concerned, like, y'all, please leave the intimate stuff alone, please. Y'all just got into a good place. I can't with the roller coaster and the up and down. Like, we don't want the season to end on like a what happens with them type of thing. So I'm really happy that he made the decision, like someone said, the responsible decision to go and say, all right, I'm gonna head out, versus like kind of staying and lingering, because that moment could have changed and it could have just been like, I really don't want him, but in this moment I want him because he's stepping up, and I didn't want Condola to regret that later on. And so I'm happy that it ended the way that it ended.
So Roger, I wanted to get your point, because this was the highlight. That was my favorite part of the show, was her telling him that he's a good father. I really think Lawrence needed to hear that. But I really think it also, as a woman, I do notice that men do need that type of compliment. And I don't think a lot of women really compliment men. And I'm getting your take on it, that I have 3 brothers, and it's so important for us to give them some little compliment in order for them to feel like they're doing the right thing, and it means a lot. They take it, their ego goes crazy. But I just noticed that, it was such a beautiful moment to see a Black woman be able to compliment a Black man in that way and really, really mean it. I really thought she was genuine about it, because I'm with Adra. I was not team Condola the way she was treating him. If you look at it the other, from his perspective, right? It was looking like she was saying, I don't trust that you're going to be a good father. And that's what the language I kept hearing from her, but that she just was not giving him a chance. And even though he's a rookie at this, she just was and she's no pro either. That's why I felt like the way that she was behaving was like, you're no expert at this. This is not your 3rd baby. This is your first 2. Let's try to work this out. But she was so resistant. And I think that was because she was focused on her initial decision that I'm going to do this on my own, whether if you want to be here or not. And when he tried to be a part of that, she wasn't prepared for that. But to really see her come full circle, right, and really just say, okay, just out of random, you're a good father. I really felt like that's the best thing that we can show for Black people. A Black woman, we do compliment Black men. If you don't hear it enough, we can work on that. But that was so important.
Okay.
Did Lawrence move back to LA? Did he really move back, or that was?
He did.
Because
he did.
I thought it was a dream that when they were acting out, when she kicked Issa into the trash can, she said that he made $1 million and he moved back to LA with 3 more inches.
That That was
the 3 inches part was a dream, but he did in fact back to LA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's down there and
To co-parent.
Can I say, Jason keeps triggering me with this 3 inches. Like I feel like I keep getting hurt for Issa.
You said what? What did you say? What did you say, Hadra?
I said Jason keeps triggering me with the 3 inches because I keep getting re-hurt for Issa. Like that is, I take the $1 million, but the stroke got longer. Like that hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean literally?
Yeah.
No, not literally. Like it hurts your feeling because that's the shit you loved.
That was a low blow.
That was a low
blow. And I thought the ring was a low blow too.
That's what I'm saying, Roger.
Okay. I was gonna say, depends on what you into, but like
yeah. But that was great. That made me love Insecure even so much more to see them write that way, because gentlemen don't always see that part, what women are thinking if they're happy or if they're upset. But if they're upset and they really think that and will dream it out and kick you into the trash after they tell you he's got an extra $1 million and an extra 1,000,000 inches, that made for great TV. I love it. I love it.
You know, the thing about the show, The Untold, I love how they bring back things that are important to the characters, like that. Issa's favorite stroke. But also, you remember in the hat, the game, the vase? Molly is going to keep talking about how Issa broke her vase, and they keep coming back to it. I just love how they do that.
That's the point. That was a key thing. Molly can't let things go. She, in general, Molly cannot let things go, including that daggone vase. Just let it go.
I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna let Roger answer the question Kikwa asked, and I'm gonna come back to Molly and her many issues. I'm not.
But yeah,
sorry.
For those who didn't, so do you think it's important for men to receive those type of compliments from women to at least know that they doing something right? You know,
absolutely. Oh, go ahead. I said absolutely. Roger's gonna say something.
All right, I see A is recentering the question. All right. Yeah, man, I'll give you my unfiltered, honest truth. Somebody, oh, was that me? Oh, Jason, I think you should mute to YouTube. It's echoing. So yeah, mute your YouTube, Jason. But I watched that and I was just like, oh, that's sweet. I didn't think it was real. I was like, I just can't see, just can't see it. In that situation, when a baby's that young and he had to go against her family and all of that, I said, ooh, yes, to answer your question, that's super, super, super important. But like Condola in that moment when like things are heightened and that just has not been my experience or the experience of anyone that I've known in that moment. For to say, you're a good dad. Like, oh my God. It was good that they did it because I thought that they were trying to portray like that. That's very important that they know the problems and they're creating like this space in which we can see people work some stuff out, right? And we can see the positivity that comes from that. But like, I don't know nobody who's the mother of their child said when the child was a baby, you're a good dad. So it kind of was like,
That's my point. I don't think women say it enough. That's my point. Men don't hear that enough to know that they're doing the right thing. And I was happy that they showed it, but I'm curious of why you thought that she was disingenuous. Do you think she had something to gain by saying that?
No. Okay. I'm just talking about real life.
Real life? No, I with you on that.
Insecure, as much as we love it, it's not real. Like there are real things in it.
No, I get it.
That came out the wrong way. I mean, it's a fictitious show. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, and what all I'm trying to say is in that moment, being intimate with that situation and knowing that situation, for her to say, I just couldn't see that happening in real life. Now, I'm a prisoner to my lens and my experience. Like, I was like, oh, okay, I'm glad that happened on this show, but I've just never known that to happen in real life.
Yeah, and to happen that quickly, right? Because the baby's still like a baby.
I'm a baby.
That's the part where I was a little disturbed that they didn't actually show the process, because I get it. The season is ending, so they can't drag that on any longer than they should. I think I've seen it happen where maybe like the kid is like 7 years old, and then maybe the mother would be like, okay, you know what, I was wrong, I'm sorry, I misjudged or whatever. Like, I've seen it happen when it's like years have passed by, but to be that in that short space and span of time, I think that was exaggerated just to make the point because the show was ending. But I really would hope that at some point they would show how that progress happened, because it's very important for us to see it. Just in the same way that Roger's like, in real life, I've never seen this. This may be something that wakes mothers up, like, okay, let me try to grow a little faster. But then how do I do that if they don't show the process that in which it happened? So hopefully they can show that.
Yeah, well, I think they did a good job of showing. Real quick, I know you trying to jump in, Jason. Give me just 1 second. I think they did a good job of showing that he made the call. When he made the call, like, yo, this is not working out, blah, 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 blah. And I guess that triggered positive energy. And so I guess what happened in between, and I guess, was a lot of good things, a lot of heavy lifting and all that. And I think you're saying it would be good to actually see that heavy lifting. But I guess we did see the initial phone call that started after that and I'm going to agree with what Jason said earlier. That episode was tremendously painful to watch. Was that episode 5? Oh God, or 4? I can't remember, but that was very, very, very painful. And so he did put in the call, and I guess it stemmed from that. What's up, Jason? What's up, baby? As we see Ariel,
I thought I would.
Go ahead, Jason.
I was going to ask Abelby and Kikwa about Lawrence, because before Lawrence had the baby, he was already ambitious and like intelligent Black man who had the potential to be a good father if he was put into parenthood. So if there's a guy like Lawrence, what can guys do, Black men, so that the mom doesn't already come out of the gate with, you're going to be a bad dad, and be upset with him? What can Lawrence do and other Lawrences do so that they don't have to fight against it, and then you say, I'm a good dad because I thought you were going to be a bad dad?
I think that's a part of that process that, like, we missed out on because we didn't see the pregnancy and what Condola went through. But I think, like, establishing your presence then would have been helpful, because there shouldn't have even been a possibility that he get a text saying that his baby was born, Like, so where were you at throughout the pregnancy to where, and things happen. He was in San Francisco, so obviously, but why nobody thought about calling him while she was in labor or whatever the case may be? It's like, were you not there? So I think establishing yourself early on, like, I'm in this with you because I'm choosing to be in this with you, kind of sets the tone, not necessarily like, oh, baby's here. All right, great. Let me jump in now or whatever. Like, she got to get to know you as a father and all the other things because you weren't there. If by chance that's the case, because we didn't see that, but I think that like presence is everything.
Yeah, I'm with Aria. The only thing I would have liked to have seen was his efforts before the baby, because she made a really snarky comment when she was like, well, you said let you know. And that to me was a message for, basically Lawrence kind of, telling her or sending the message like, well, call me when you need me. And not that I'm going to, take initiative and just show up as much as possible until the baby came, And I think that's why they all had to look when he walked into the hospital like, oh, you're here. And that's because I think his energy was like, Just call me when something happens, which is not really saying that you are what you're saying. Like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be a part of this baby. Well, your efforts seem half-ass. I know you were in San Francisco, but now that the baby's here, you are flying back and forth. But what happened prior to that? And then two, even being in San Francisco is half effort. She with the baby every day. So it's a two-person, whether if you co-parent or not, both have to be 50-50. You know what I'm saying? But it has to be 100% effort for the baby. So I do think I would have preferred that he had not sent her this message like, I'm gonna just wait for you to call me when you need me. I felt like that's what he gave.
I completely agree with you, Kikwa. And I think another thing that the show did really well, if you remember with Derek and Tiffany, you remember that scene where he talks about how the baby was unexpected, right? And so I think with Derek, but also with Lawrence, we get a glimpse into what is it like to, in our 30s or even later, transition into parenthood for a man and for a woman, because we see Tiffany and her struggles and her transition. And not to be academic, but I think about that family system, right? So what were the supports that both parties had, right? How did they negotiate their roles to make sure that the child had what they need? All the things when it comes to supporting a young child and a baby. So that's kind of what I've been seeing. I see the pieces that they're putting in place about parenting, right? What does it mean in Insecure to grow as a parent? Your ideas have to shift, right? Like both of them said, do you remember Condola and Lawrence? They said in the conversation, that episode, yeah, some things are not what we expected, right? So I walk away just looking at both parties when it comes to their parenting. And I do think they're trying to say something about the role of fathers, particularly with Derek, in juxtaposition with Lawrence and kind of how they've approached it. And yeah, they even brought back talking about the postpartum that Tiffany went through and kind of her worry about moving to Denver. So I thought it was well done.
And I agree. I what this brings to mind for me is like, I call it a myth. I think it's a myth of the absent Black father. They've written bunch of pieces and like articles about it, but like I think Black fathers are often left out of like that like narrative, right, of being just present and nurturing and caring and so I feel like America buys into that narrative, but then to an extent I think Black women probably do, as y'all will probably agree with that. And then the reasons for that is our community has gone through a lot. We've had our family structures literally and systematically torn apart intentionally, right? So I think it was nice to see Insecure approach it in this way where you do see, in my opinion, I think Lawrence was a good dad. Like he was still kind of like sowing his oats and it was nice. It was interesting to see how Condola, she was probably dealing with postpartum too, right? Which could explain, some of that anger. And it was a very like human thing that she was experiencing. And here's, Lawrence parenting from San Francisco, text me if anything, right? And so just some of that resentment that can exist, that is very human. And to see them come to that place where, let's acknowledge Lawrence, you're doing, I see you, right? Like let's affirm him, right? Let's call out the present Black dads that so many of us have grown up with, we've seen, and like it's not a myth, right? So it was nice for them to do that.
Okay, so I think I'm to answer your question, Jason. I feel like, well, number one, know who you're sleeping with and who because that's who you're choosing to sleep with. That's number one, because if you guys haven't had the conversation of like, I trust you to be a good father when that happens, then yeah, you're gonna be blindsided, and then you don't even know what you're gonna feel when you find out you're pregnant. So let's do that. And another thing also is that to have men take more account in how the woman is protected and how you're protecting yourself too. Because when Condola was like, "I'm pregnant," he goes, "I thought we were being safe." Like, how about we know we're being safe, not just thinking? Like, be sure you're being safe, because once that baby comes, it's a done deal. Like, if she doesn't want to get an abortion, then you're stuck with it. And I say stuck with air quotes, but really, yeah, you are. So I think there's a little bit more responsibility that, we need to take, especially as men. Um, I think you guys take sex a little bit more lightly than we do, right? Because the burden falls on us to carry the baby. But maybe it's about time that you guys kind of worry about that a little bit more and be more cautious with who you have a baby with. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's all I want to add.
Okay, well, let me ask Kikwa, um, like, you hate on Lawrence because he took the job in San Francisco, but without jobs, the dads will be even treated worse.
Mm.
Lawrence didn't get laid off from his job. He chose to go for another job. Even though the job that he was at the time was going through layoffs, Lawrence don't know. He was just trying to get out before they gave him a severance. But Lawrence was at the point, I know he struggled with jobs, but he had got himself to a point where he can get another job. And he did. It just was in San Francisco. And I'm not saying that Lawrence shouldn't have taken that job. I'm just saying the amount of effort that he's putting in when the baby got here, right, should have been equivalent to the effort from day one when he found out that she was pregnant. All that is, your life has changed. And he knew that. He told her that. You blew up my life, as if it's a bad thing that they both got pregnant. It's not just her. Both of you are in this together. We're pregnant. It's a we thing. And I really felt like he just kind of left it on her and was like, well, you're pregnant. And even though he, let me know, I'm gonna be it, you have to be, Molly said it, intentional. You know what I mean? This is not a toy. This is not something that, you can just put in a box and store away. It's someone's life who needs medical, dental, food. It's a life. And I think
emotional support, attachment, all those critical. Yep.
And I just felt like he just, not to say that he shouldn't have taken the job. I want to see that same energy that you had when I was pregnant, that you have now when the baby is here. That way I have built some trust that you will be around and that you will do your best to be a good father.
Okay, I heard that. And hey. Well, Angela says the pregnancy, she says in this chat, not in the YouTube chat, but in this chat, YouTubers, you can't see it, but the pregnancy came after the job, right? After he took the job. Did the pregnancy come after he took the job?
It was at the same time. Yeah, he got the job, and then she was like,
I'm pregnant. It was after he took the job, but before he left for the job, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there's that. And then Marie says intentionality is the word of the day.
That's right.
Okay, man, for sure. Wow. Hey, check it out. There's some other things popping off, man. Speaking of growth, right? Because Amber, behind the scenes, Amber had a question. Where do you see growth reflected in the group of friends individually? That was a question that Amber brought to the room. I want to use that to pivot into Nathan, because Nathan says that, oh, I see so many reactions. Oh, so Nathan, at last episode, he was upset at his job, the barbershop. Nathan said, I'm packing up. I'm tired of this, man. I'm moving. I don't know if LA is it, and blah, blah, blah. As if he and Issa never had a thing. And he wasn't able to say to Issa that he loves her back, even with her on top of him, literally. He wasn't going to say it. Now, this episode, he calls her up I do love you, Issa. I always have. I'm going to stay in LA and I'm going to figure stuff out. So I'm wondering, how did that move people? Does that change people's perception of this Issa and Nathan union now that they both, I love you too, they're at that stage? And he's going to stay in LA. He says out loud, I was engaging in avoidant behavior, and F that, I'm here, baby, I'm here. And what do people think about that, man? I'm putting it out there.
They're perfect for each other now. Sad. I mean, Nathan is just so delayed. That's all I'm gonna say. And I get it. He's got some issues. Bless his heart. I was done. I was like, what? I'm not even going to entertain this, because what is this? What is that phone call? What happened? Did he go to sleep and wake up and say, I really do love Lisa? I don't know. It was so, I don't know, random. And it just, I don't know. I'm not going to say much. I don't want to beat the man down, because
I want you to say everything. I want you to stop holding back. And I want you to go in the last definitive insecure chat. I want you to go all the way in. If you don't like Nathan, make it abundantly clear. And go ahead and say it. Don't hold back, Kikwa. Don't hold back.
It's not that I dislike Nathan. I think he's a nice guy. And I think he can be honest. He's just so delayed. And it's just, leaves Issa at this always questioning, and you have to have a lot of patience with Nathan, because she done made another decision. She done called Lawrence, not to say it's his fault, but you got me thinking, Issa's all these things are going, I don't know what's on your mind. We don't read minds, but Nathan waits a little too long to be entirely transparent. And people have history with other relationships and trauma and all that. He needs to come right on time. And I think when she called him out on it, that was his opportunity. And I was being avoided. That's a red flag. This is just the beginning. I had to pull teeth to see if you love me or not.
Come on, Kikwa. And Kendrick Sampson, I root for him. He's fine, first of all. And every time that deep Southern drawl gets on my screen, I just feel at home. So I'll say that. Secondly, I think you're absolutely right. You remember when they said, oh, everybody knows how he feels about you. Tiffany said that, all the folks. She said, do we? Is it clear? I think you're absolutely right. In the next breath, she said, if I need to start over, I will. Do you remember? So I think you're right, Kikwa, that she's already at that point where she's grappling with, if I say to a man multiple times that I love him, that I'm in it, that I'm committed, but he's not reciprocating, that's a deal breaker for her. Like, she learned through the relationship with Daniel, with Lawrence, the detriment of not having a partner that's going to meet you where you are, right? So I think you're absolutely right. I think that she's going to make that tough decision about Nathan, knowing that he may not be ready yet. And in some ways, I think she's ambivalent too when it comes to Lawrence. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who asked the question?
I feel like
I don't think
somebody. I was just gonna say, I feel like she needs somebody to affirm her, and he, like you said, delayed. And so, like, somebody that's already insecure and that's already like all over the place, you need affirmations. You need, like, if I told you I love you and you're like, like, the hell is we doing? Like, okay, well, let me go on to the next. I identify with Issa with that. Like, affirm my insecurity that I'm presenting before you. Don't wait a day or two or whatever.
Yeah.
He could have sent a text, because if you didn't want to interrupt girls' night, you could have sent a text. You got to wait till the next morning.
I see your comment, Adjoa. I think you're right. It's, yes, the affirmation, but the reciprocity that also is most important for her. That's the distinction. I think that's really at the root of it. Yeah.
And I mean, okay, so I agree, right? I agree. But I think the thing with Issa and Nathan is that, and I agree with you too, Kikwa, that Nathan is delayed. But that's the beauty of coupling, right? That's the beauty of coupling, that you may be delayed to one person, but you may be right on time for somebody else. So if you're delayed, if Issa is feeling that he is delayed, then maybe that's not it for you. Patience is something that is required when you love someone. It's not just like, because love doesn't just come and go. And if that person, and if you really truly do love this person, as you say you do, what's the rush in that, especially the fact that he's there, he's present, he's with you, he's interacting with you, like you guys are actually growing together. I get affirmation, I get reciprocation, I get all of that. But just the fact that you jump to Lawrence that quick, I'm sorry, that's not love. That's not love. That's just you needing assurance. That's you needing a blanket. That's you needing comfort. That's you needing someone to just make you feel good about yourself. That's not love.
There you
So
go.
I don't think
I
she
agree
loves
with
that.
you.
Yeah,
I don't think that she needed affirmation. Well, I don't know, like, because I kind of feel like affirmations, like thinking in terms of like love languages, right? Like that might be the way that she needed affirmations, not necessarily like, I love you. If you love me back, I can continue to love you. Like kind of along that lines. I don't know that she loves, what is the boy's name? Nathan. I don't know that she loves Nathan, like, because it just seemed like this is in the moment. He did something really great for you. And for that, I love you. But overall, is that how you feel? And did you feel like, oh, that came out, can't take it back? You know, like, where are you at with that?
Yeah, you don't quickly move on that way. And even in the conference, when they were playing the game, when she was like, I don't know, like, you don't quickly, if you love somebody, real love doesn't just like dissipate in that, in a matter of like that person not saying I love you. You just, no.
But maybe a defense mechanism.
Then that's not love, because love can't grow if you're being insecure. There's a space that love needs to grow. And if you are feeling that level of insecurity, then that's not love. That's an attachment.
I don't think that Issa loves Nathan. I think she may love him as a friend, as a child of God, but I don't think that she loves him the way that he loves her. I believe he loves her. You know, people, you know, y'all may disagree, but you know, because this is what I will never forget. When Issa cried in his mouth. If y'all remember, the situation that happened directly before that was her, I think, breaking things off with Lawrence. You know what I mean? Like, she broke off with Lawrence. Next thing you know, she's in Nathan's bed crying in his mouth. What was she crying about? I always felt that it was Lawrence, right? And when she and if you see how she reacted, like in her, you know, fantasy, like dropping the baby, like, you know, like kicking Condola, and like, what is that? Where does that reaction come from? That comes from a place that is unresolved emotions. Like, it's not over for her. There's nothing about what, you know, is going on with Issa that makes me think that it's over for her when it comes to Lawrence, right? Like you said, the first thing you do is you call Lawrence when things are insecure with you and Nathan. Like, you're not over Lawrence, you know? So it's that still needs to be resolved. I don't know how, you know, the show is going to end it, but I think that Lawrence was always Issa's true love. And even the questions that they asked in the game, where it was like, when Issa was like, she wished that she knew sooner. Like, we might assume that it's about the block is hot, you know, her organization, but what if it was about Lawrence? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I think the show is moving in a very interesting place. And I looked at the title of the next couple of shows, and one of them is Choices, okay? And I really do believe that, you know, she's gonna have to make a choice between Lawrence and Nathan. I think that they're alluding to that. And so I don't know. I just never felt that she loved Nathan like that. Like, there was nothing about, I mean, anyways, I just don't see it.
That's what they're showing us though. Each time she run into Lawrence, then that's when she had those dramatic, she was daydreaming, right? You know, you can't say Lawrence around her and then she spins out. She spins back into everything Lawrence, you know. And I'm sorry, Nathan is just the dude. She didn't even convince herself. I don't know how she convinced herself by saying what she really liked about Nathan to that turning into I love him. Because even the way she was saying, I said it to my friends all the time. I love the way you do your hair. That don't mean I'm saying I love you. You know what I mean? And that's how she said it to him, you know? And so I'm like, how did that become I'm in love with you? So it's both of them are just a mess to me, both in this whole situation, her and Nathan. That's why I'm like, I don't even know what they waking up and who they're going to be today. I'm just that's why they're perfect for each other. You just I don't know. No one's healthy. Neither one of them are in a good place to at least be married. I can tell you that now, not to get for marriage, but you know, that Lawrence, I think Lawrence is, like I said, I'm team Lawrence for her because Lawrence is her guy, that's her person, and she stays with Lawrence. Nathan, he's fun to be with. And I'm happy she's having someone she can have fun with.
I think that goes back to what Adjoa said earlier of how do you measure your growth unless you're tested? And Issa's not grown in regards to Lawrence. Either you want him or you don't. But every time the wind might whistle his name and you're like, oh, does that mean I need to go back to him? You know, so I think she probably needs to call Dr. Rhonda too. But, you know, she needs to determine where she wants to go in a linear fashion, and right now she's all over the place.
Does anyone think that Nathan is the one for Issa? Does anyone see that relationship going the distance? No one on the call.
I think if they can communicate better, I think so. Like if they can meet each other where they like, I don't know, they need to talk about what they want and kind of get on the same page. And I think that they could work, but right now it's just like, it's weird. I mean, I like him, and maybe I just want to like Nathan, and that's
right.
Why,
it's Kendrick Sampson. So I think I was rooting for them the last 2 seasons, especially, but the last 3 episodes have just really made me see when they had that stalemate in the living room. When they were like, you know what, we can't talk about this.
In the last, was that last episode? That was in the last episode, right? Yeah, absolutely.
That for me was really telling about like the quality of the relationship and just the communication. I was like, okay. So I think, I forget who it was that said, how believable is then he would call her and say, I love you, da 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 da. I don't think that the issues are resolved. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's, because what we
he got mad at the dude at the barbershop and he's like, I don't know, I'm leaving. I mean, she said it to him like, so dang, what about me? Right. That's just not where they are. Both.
Yeah.
He will,
Okay, he will leave. Is that what you're gonna say?
I think if he had the opportunity, things didn't go well in LA, Nathan would be like, I'm out of here.
But we see in the next episode that they're kind of like fast tracking, right? It says, did you see the sneak peek?
I did.
I can't remember. I don't. That's my memory.
I did.
Okay, it's like they wake up next to each other, and he's like, "I love waking up next to you, making you coffee," and it seems like they've been like spending a lot of time together, like doing. And so I feel like they're kind of rushing through those unresolved issues. Perhaps maybe that'll come to the forefront. I don't know.
Okay.
Until Lawrence comes around.
I like Nathan. I think Nathan is. I think.
Though.
Huh?
You like Nathan for Issa. It's not about liking him.
Okay, so I like Nathan for Issa. I don't like Issa for Nathan.
Oh, okay.
And that's because Issa's not matured enough. Issa's not matured enough to really know definitively what she's feeling. She's not mature enough, and so she's gonna break Nathan's heart. Because although Nathan is still a work in progress, Nathan puts so much effort into being a work in progress that I trust that he will know what he feels and what he wants more so than Issa would. So the two of them are works in progress, yes. But as a couple, Issa's going to drag Nathan down because Issa just does not know what she wants yet. And the fact that she fakes it to make it till she makes it is gonna be an issue because she could really, yeah, she's gonna break his heart. She fakes it to make it. That's Issa's MO. Yeah, she's gonna break his heart.
I agree. And when I was saying that, I believe that Nathan loves Issa, but I don't believe that Issa loves Nathan. It's part of that. You know, I've always felt like Issa was trash, and I mean that with like, just with all due respect. It's that, like, you know what I mean? Like, dope all around, but it's that immaturity, right? Like, that as a partner, Issa is not there yet. And I feel bad for Nathan because I think that he is taking those steps to grow. It's not easy for him to be vulnerable, yet he's on the phone, sharing his love for her, expressing it, knowing that he's dealing with like mental health issues, making the decision to stay, right, despite all of the other challenges that are going on, because he wants to give this relationship a real shot. And, you know, we know that Issa is not over Lawrence, right? So, yeah, I agree with you.
Well, we shall see. I suppose it's going to be a showdown. We only have 3 more episodes, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at guys. What's it looking like for Nathan from a guy perspective?
What in terms of what?
Is Nathan the guy? Do you think Nathan really loved Issa?
Yeah, yes, it's quite possible. Yes, I think he does. I think I would agree with Marie, really. Like, I think that his feelings towards her are more genuine than her feelings towards him. I don't think Issa's being manipulative in any way. I think she just doesn't know. There's just a block. Like, I think that she's telling herself that she should be healed right by now, and she is not. That's not how it works. You don't just say, okay, I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, and so I think that she yeah, she's in rough shape emotionally. I think that at the end of that episode, when Lawrence hit her, even after Nathan had confessed his love and all of that, I think she really was more moved by Lawrence's call than Nathan's confession of how he felt and he always loved her.
Which is crazy because he didn't even say nothing. He just called her back.
He didn't say anything. Yeah, he called her.
Roger, can I challenge one thing? I think Issa knows. Issa knows she's a mess. Issa knows. She knows she doesn't have the answer. She
Probably tells her all the time.
finds the answer because she does not know how to just say, I don't have the answer. I don't know. Like, why would you be that forceful in having Nathan say, I love you too, if you're going to be that quick to abandon ship? No, she knows. She knows that I'm not all in here because she knows what love feels like. She knows what Lawrence's love feels like. As a grown woman, you know what love feels like and what love doesn't feel like. So for her to be saying, I love you, Nathan, and to be that pressed about Nathan saying it back, that right there, that is manipulative in a way. She knows. She's very aware. She chased Lawrence for the longest when she cheated. She knows what it feels like. She had Daniel in the back pocket talking about, you might be my maybe. She knows what love feels like.
Lord. Well.
But I don't think she feels worthy of love now that she's cheated on Lawrence. I think she's still beating herself up over that. I think she's really become more insecure. When she started, she was very secure, you know, her grown woman stuff. And then she made a mistake. It blew up her whole loving relationship. And she has just been spiraling out ever since. She has not come back to that person that she was when her and Lawrence were solid. Well, partially solid. That's it. But I think that's where she's at. She hasn't found that comeback. And right when she got it, Lawrence got somebody pregnant, and it's just, you know, so now she's back out, you know, not feeling worthy again. Just
come on. That's it.
She still knows. My whole point is that she knows where her journey is. Like, because when we're all insecure about something, we know. When we're with a guy and we're holding on, because that's when you start second guessing yourself. Like, oh man, I'm doing too much. Maybe I'm not. Maybe like so. I feel like she knows where she is in her journey. She's just not able to stop herself because she's actually in that. She's in the midst of that whirlwind, right? But I
Yeah.
feel like she does know exactly where she is in her journey. At least that's just my perspective.
Yeah, I think you're right, Roger and Kikwa, both of your points. To be loved and not to bring Adele into the room, right? But to be loved and to feel love, to give love, you have to have that inner peace, like, and like she tried, like Adele said, she tried. So I think when she says again, if I have to start again, if I have to start over, I will. I think you're absolutely right. I think she's trying to figure it out. I don't see it as a manipulation. I see it as, on her part, some introspection that she needs to do before she dives in deeper.
So I want Roger, let's answer your question, your comment. Whose ego? Is Lawrence the one for Issa? Whose ego? Issa's or Lawrence's?
Let me contextualize. So Marie dropped this question in this chat, and Marie says, is Lawrence the one for Issa? To which I responded, technically, yes, but I think ego will keep them apart. And whose ego? Issa's ego. I think both of their egos. I think the things that it would take for them to really work it out, I don't know if they're willing to do all of those things with a baby. What did Molly say in the girls' night out? She just don't want to be nobody's stepmother, right? Remember Molly said that? And I think that she's going to have to deal with Condola forever, which is possible. It happens, right? It happens all the time. We know that. Can Issa do that though? Can Issa? I don't know. You're gonna have to mute the mute your YouTube, Jason, because mute the YouTube because it's echoing. Yeah, not yourself, but just the YouTube that you are watching, the stream. Just mute the stream. There you go. You got it.
But
were you gonna say something, Jason?
that Issa did not want to be the stepmom.
Yeah. Okay. For sure. Yeah. So that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Well, who does? I mean, I mean, that's not ideal, right? I don't think. I think you're saying she's not mature enough to be a stepmom, right?
I didn't use the word maturity. I say I didn't use the word maturity. I just think that now it happens. Like some of us are here and better people because that happened, right? In our personal lives. Like people take children in, women take children in, men take children in. And that's a great thing. Like, especially about our community. Like when that happens, like that's super dope because people need that. But I don't know if it's maturity, but she would have to, she would just in public spaces, like her ego would, I don't know if that role is meant for her. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if she could wear that. I don't know if she could, I don't think that Issa could do that.
Well, I was thinking you were saying maybe it was too close to comfort because she had this relationship with Condola. Condola took her man. All this happening. I mean, how do you blend in with that? I mean, it's so raw because she was friends with Condola. Condola helped her get to the platform she's at right now, which is why they should be friends. But then you with the love of my life, and now you robbed me from my first child with him. Like all of that is just too close for comfort. And I don't even know if Issa would have any comfort with this history amongst all three of them. That would be hard. Very difficult. You really have to put a lot of things and just humble yourself in order for that to be, for her to be stepmom. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. I would agree with all of those things. Anyone else? Marie, was you about to say something?
Yeah, I mean, y'all kids are going to be siblings and stuff. Like, I don't know. Issa doesn't, she just doesn't strike me as, Okay, so Ariel and I are good friends. And so after the episodes, we always talk. And last week, Ariel, remember when I texted you an audio message? This was, I think, episode 6. I was like, why is Issa still trash? We are in episode 6 of the last season. And so, and the thing is, I identify with her so much. And this is no disrespect, but it's like, girl, when are you going to grow? So where I need you to grow. Like, you don't have a lot of time. But that's what I would say. I think that, I don't know, to answer my question is, do I think that Issa and Lawrence are like made for each other? It's so just cloudy at this moment for me. I don't even really know the answer to that question, to be honest. I just don't think that Nathan and Issa are a good match. I would love to see Issa and Lawrence have that conversation, the conversation that we're all waiting for. But yeah, I'm just not sure. It's just a lot going on with her.
Okay. Always a lot going on.
I think also I agree she's not mature enough to be Condola's baby stepmother. And I mean, just think about it. Can you imagine her having random thoughts of just step back, fade away with the kid? Like, that's gonna always happen because Issa's always rapping in her head. So the kid might come over with like a snack, and it's like, oh, so you over here with organic, whatever. Your mama done sent you this. She in the mirror probably rapping to herself about the baby. I don't see that she got it. She's not for this child. I don't think so.
I heard not for this child. I heard that. Well, Amber stated in this chat that she thinks that Insecure will position Crenshaw as Issa's life partner. And she said that regarding, as a response to the sneak peek from episode 8. Yeah, there's some kind of tension. There's something happening between Crenshaw and Issa. And so, yeah. My God,
I think so.
Have to resolve as well.
I think that adds another layer. We see in episode 8, and I love it. So it seems like there's an episode where we have Tiffany, and she's meeting with Molly's parents about their financial future, all those things. So I love that we have a storyline about Kelly.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. Because there's still some cliffhangers related to Kelly before this, the season ends with her, right? Marie says Crenshaw is not playing.
Not playing with a full deck, she said.
What do you mean, Mary?
Yeah, because let's not even
go ahead,
Yeah. Let's not even go there.
No, not Crenshaw, please. Like, no.
Listen,
I'm just saying, based on what I saw in the sneak peek, I was like, oh, I don't know.
I think they're gonna make up and they probably will work together, but there's no way that there could be a fruitful relationship between those two people. Like,
it's like the blind leading the blind leading the blind with them.
And she's not gonna be able to handle somebody that's gonna call her on her shit.
Every fight will be on Twitter. Every single fight. Even put the toilet seat down, it will be on Twitter. We will be having that fight on Twitter.
Yeah.
And he's gonna call her out on her stuff, and I don't know that Issa's ready for that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is a good point, but like, if you call me out once and you let it go, I'm good. But like, you can't keep dragging it out, and that's that immaturity with Crenshaw. I want to say something. Do I think Lawrence and Issa, that's the one? I feel like they've really had a good thing, and they could have a good thing. I just think that Issa should choose herself. I really think that Issa is the one for Issa right now. Like, nobody else is the one for Issa. Issa needs to really choose herself, work on herself. And maybe somewhere down the line, I feel like she and Lawrence will probably be back together, because what they have is rare. What they have is rare. For him to even kind of like think of that maybe, okay, I could get over her cheating, like, that's rare. A lot of men don't even process that, like, that is a possibility. And for him to think that that could be a possibility, I feel like they can grow from that. If Issa does what she needs to do 5 years down the line. somewhere.
So let's do this. Let's do this. Hold on. Let's do this, man. I got two more things, man, because listen, people on the East Coast, man, it's getting late. I appreciate y'all. Listen, everybody in the chat, I know y'all there in the chat. Go ahead and say something in the chat, and then also like this video if you have not done so already. I always appreciate people in the chat. Okay, here we go. The last definitive insecure chat. I just have two things, right? And one is, hey, I want people just make a bold prediction about, because we only got 3 more episodes in the show. Bold prediction. What do you think is going to happen? What do you want to see happen? And we got a whole bunch of conflicts that need to be resolved. I want to personally say before I yield the floor that I don't think this series is going to end in a fulfilling, complete, wholesome way. I think there's going to be a lot of I just can't. I don't think they can wrap all this up, y'all. Like, it's just so many things in 3 episodes. I don't know. But what do people think? Just make a bold prediction. And some people already have, like Amber said, the Crenshaw curveball. What else? Predictions for the next 3 episodes. Where do people see this thing going?
Torian and Molly, I think they're going to end up together.
Torian and Molly.
I'm pretty sure about that.
Okay, Torian and Molly. Okay, got that one. And I think people are in agreement. Okay. Anything else? Issa and... Torian and Molly, Issa and...
Somebody new.
Somebody new?
Somebody new.
Okay, Issa and somebody new. So none of the men that we think are in the running are going
in the block. What's her company?
Issa in the block.
Issa in the block.
Okay.
No, not Issa and Daniel.
Not Daniel. He's not Daniel.
Okay, is that situation with, you know what? I think it's going to end with the farewell trip, right? Baby girl's going to Arizona. Denver.
I believe that too.
And so it's got to end with that. I'm wondering if Lawrence. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
My girl Kelly is going to become a motivational speaker. She's no longer being an accountant. I think she's going to go on a whole new journey. She's going to be like a life coach. I see that for her.
She is the breakout star. I think your earlier question, I think she's the breakout star of the series.
That was going to be my next question, but go ahead.
Okay. I think her comedic timing is just on full display throughout all 5 seasons. Even something as simple when she got high during the episode, like that whole segment where they just everything. She's just such a, She's a brilliant actress, and I look forward to seeing her in other roles, her own ventures. So.
And also, she's a great writer.
Yeah.
She wrote on a lot of the episodes. She directed one, I believe. I think she used to write for SNL and then got let go or something like that. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right.
I think Kelly, I mean, she's my friend in my head. Like, I just love her. And so, yeah, I agree. She's a breakout star. Yeah, in my head.
Kelly is as a real friend of Kelly's, not like a real friend. Like, I'm just saying in reality. Her personality. Kelly is messy. She don't hold back. She will tell you. You have to really have tough skin to be a friend of Kelly. You know, Kelly just has no filter. Zero filter. You know, in any situation.
Yeah.
You know, she ain't trying to really put on a face for you. Kelly gonna be Kelly wherever.
Yeah. And that's distinct from Molly, because there were some similar things, right? As far as
similar, like in that they're both abrasive.
But the delivery is often more approachable. Yeah.
Kelly
I want to see Prince Pregunta's take off.
You want to see what, Ariel? I'm sorry. What do you want to see, Ariel?
Prince Preguntas. I really want to see them take off and see where that goes. Like, they gotta close that for me. Maybe give her like a little episode or something. Or like how I was saying to somebody earlier, like how they used to have that show, like when they were finding the girl or the cell, whatever. They didn't do that, and I wish that like they would give her some space like that on this show. Like, a little clip from her podcast or something. Because Kelly is the one.
Kelly's the one. So we
Yeah,
answered.
Kelly is a breakout star. But can we talk about the assistant of Issa too? I love her.
I love her dearly. I love
Oh
her.
my God.
Quinta?
Good.
Quinta.
Isn't it
Quinta.
Yes.
Just the little thing, the nosebleeds. She gets the constant nosebleeds. I'm like, what's happening?
But she was talking about her her roommates having sex, and she could like. I'm just like, girl, like love her. But I really do think that Amber is right with Kelly. Kelly is amazing. Like my favorite episode, bar none, probably of any show. Period is low key happy. Like. I don't know how many times I watched. That was probably a therapy session for me. All the men who really sat down and have a conversation, I'm sitting there looking at them like, oh, okay, you're okay. This is a conversation we're having now. Literally, Lawrence was a stand-in for so many men that I'm sure so many other women were like, we never had a closure conversation. So that was my favorite Barnard episode. It was, that was a good.
I'm
with
you. Good I think similarly, my favorite episode. I think it was season 3 when they go to Coachella. Do you remember when they get into that fight and Kelly, she gets tased and like she uses the bathroom on herself? Like that is one of the funniest moments of all TV. Like I live.
I stole her line. Look at me different. So whenever I do something embarrassing now, that is my go-to now. I would have to tell my friends, look at me different. Don't. I love that line. That was amazing.
And I loved how she was like in this episode, she was like, what is it? She's Cali sober or Cali.
Cali sober. Yeah.
Which means high and not drunk. Is that what that means?
High and not drunk. Like she doesn't drink, but she's gonna smoke her ass
I think that was a reference to Selena Gomez. I mean, no, Demi Lovato, who came out, who recently said that she's back on sobriety full. So God bless that. Yep. Yep.
Okay. Can I go real?
Can y'all help me?
Issa?
Okay.
Like I actually low key kind of like Daniel. Like I kind of do a little bit. I know. But I low key kind of like Daniel because I feel like nobody has been there for Issa the way that Daniel has been there for Issa. Like when Issa was on Daniel's couch, like that was some real stuff. The fact that he actually let her sleep in her bed for as long as she did without him even really touching her until like towards the end. Like for me, I mean, I'm not saying I all the way like Daniel, but I kind of like Daniel a little bit, you know, not as a long-term. I don't know what I'm saying. All I'm saying is I kind of like Daniel. Okay.
A lot of people like looking at him. A lot of people like looking at him too.
Oh, Daniel. Him and Crenshaw. Although he's not, to me, he's not as fine as Kofi. So he's not. Kofi is.
Girl, my God.
I can't even. Whoo, child. Let me go on.
Yes. Shout out to Really Love on Netflix. Watch it if you haven't watched it. Really Love.
I just feel like Daniel gave mixed signals. I feel like he was flirting, but he had no intentions on really pursuing Issa. I just felt like he was just kind of rolling with it. And then when it became roommates, he just was like, well, if you don't say what this is, I'm just going to do. But he was still flirting with her. I just felt like he just sent her a lot of mixed signals. And it wasn't entirely her fault, even though she was a hot mess in that situation too. I see some of Daniel's side of it too, you know.
Okay, I think Daniel's. Oh, who knows who's going to pop out of the cuts? If Dro is calling, then I think that is. And I look at like foreshadowing little breadcrumbs that they dropped because they were talking about all the exes at the table and stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know. I have no idea like what's going to happen. Who are they going to bring back for these final episodes? T Frost in the chat says, I think Nathan's going to get his heart broken. And I want Issa and Lawrence. Molly with Torian would love to see Prinny's Preguntas on tour. So there you go. Well, by golly, you know what? Anything else people want to say regarding the episode? But my final question was, which Amber asked, was that, you know, who's the breakout star? It seems like everyone thinks that the breakout star is going to be Kelly. and she definitely stood out. She was doing this narrator type thing of the games and stuff, this kind of, making it kind of like spooky in a way. And so I don't know, she's got a lot of range. So yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. Yeah, so I guess everyone thinks it's going to be Amber. I'm sorry, not Amber, but Kelly. Anything else people want to say about the episode or anything?
Yeah,
I just have
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I just want to know. I follow Prentice Perry on Instagram, and he does his whole recap, well, discussion about the episode on Sundays. So last week it was a really good one because we got to see Christina Elmore, which is Condola. She got to speak her side on this past episode, and also he brought in the infamous, the one who is responsible for this all, Larry Wilmore. If you don't know Larry Wilmore, look Larry Wilmore up. He is the Bernie Mac show. He has done so many shows for Black folk. You just look him up. But if anything, him and Larry Wilmore and Issa have started this show, Insecure. And then she brought in Prentice Perry. And Prentice used to do Girlfriends. So, anyways, follow Prentice on Instagram. All my questions that I have for you guys, I asked him and he responded, which is great. So he's very engaging in everybody's questions and stuff. So I'm sure we'll have an episode this Sunday. That's all I wanted to say, because they really went into the writing, the scene, more than the wind down than what we got out of it. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Kiko. And whenever you message him again, just say thank you.
Well, I follow him on Instagram. When he goes live, I just jump on.
For this time, you know what I mean? So, and it just has been so much. Yeah. So I just thank them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was gonna say that I felt that the show, I don't know, I just think the show is just so brilliant. I know this is the last chat. We won't really have an opportunity to talk, give our take about it. But yeah, for me, what I appreciated about it is that just like the idea of like an awkward Black person, like just the fact that, because I feel like a lot of times the way Black people are depicted in shows and TV, it's like I don't feel that we have a lot of range. It's like, we like cool looks a certain way, or like confidence looks a certain way. And I don't know, it was just nice to see a character like Issa on screen. And it was just, beautifully done, and how they just, like we said earlier, just made an ode to Black people. And I think Black people from all walks of life like could relate to the characters on that show. And yeah, it was beautifully done. So that's what I would say. I really enjoyed it, and it's gonna leave a void once it's over.
Start preparing now.
That early too.
Yeah,
that was a good point, because even with her awkwardness, that like there were times where she would like sing out loud or say something very awkward. Like the thing I loved is that the character she was standing opposite to never really made it like this big awkward moment. Like she was able to always be herself regardless of whoever she was talking to. And the writing was amazing. Like it was really great writing. And also it wasn't just the quintessential, like it wasn't like the same story we see all the time. It was just so different and diverse. And yeah, I love that about the show.
Issa definitely changed the game with the misadventures of Awkward Black Girl, from that, and then the way that she got her connections and made that into a successful HBO show. Just my journey with the show, how I really love the misadventures. Like I love that so much. And then when I saw Insecure, I was just like, I was kind of hating like the first season. I was kind, because I love the misadventures, and I was like, oh, she's not as like awkward. She's not as awkward on the show. But then like at some point, like I became super, super, super obsessed with it, and really like yelling at Molly in my head and just going through all this stuff. So Issa changed the game. she started because she watched Flavor of Love and saw that depiction of Black women. And she was like, no, absolutely not. Like, we are so much more than that. And she started filming in her dorm and all that, and just totally dedicated herself to this brand. And now she's put so many people on in this show and brought so many people back who you haven't seen or heard from in like several decades. And she's done that consistently, man. Like, she's hired so many people that were like viral on Instagram and had a lot of followers, but you know, they hadn't made that transition into an actual show, and she's given them their first opportunity. So she's done so much for Black creatives. Like, she is phenomenal. Like, she's an incredible woman. And
just the association of awkward and Black, like that was never a thing until she started. Like, to just be Black, like Black was always associated with cool. So
Right.
to be like, to have that word awkward, and I'm awkward as a AF, okay? Because I'm just me all day. And just to have that, like, she just created a whole space for so many of us. So love her.
yeah. Shout out Issa. Was that an old hand, Marie, or was that a new hand?
Oh no, that was when Audra said that, you know, saying how she felt that she was awkward. I feel the same way, right? And it's like, Issa says that she's awkward. She was on Breakfast Club and they were asking her if that's really how she felt, and she was like, yeah, I am awkward as hell. And you wouldn't see that, like, you may not, you know, peg her as that, but it's like, it's so beautiful how she is like always in the mirror, and then there's like, you know, she's outgoing, and you know, on one side, and the other side she's, you know, insecure. It's just, I just love how they wrote it. And like I just said, you never see Black and awkward in the same sentence, in the same space. And so like characters like Issa, and even, I don't know if you guys watch Atlanta, but like
Love Atlanta.
I love that show. Another brilliant show where you have a similar character that's like awkward and Black and, you know, has range and, you know, looks like so many people that we know, but you know, the way that we're depicted on screen is usually like we're the epitome of cool, and that's not, you know, everyone's experience. Even if you are cool, which I think Issa is, right, but you don't always feel that way, you know, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I gotta shout out Amber, who she talked about the music. The music has been phenomenal. In episodes that I didn't like, whole seasons that I didn't like, the music was always on point. Shout out to Raphael Sadiq of Tony fame, also from Oakland, California. So there you go. He does the music.
Area.
There you go. In the billing. What's up, Kiko? You about to say something, Kiko?
No, I was just saying Bay Area. I'm with you. The music was fire. It was, yes.
Point. Introduced us to so many new artists too, so many new musical artists, because I'll be Shazamming like every show, like, who this? Huh? Okay, I'm on it. Yeah.
Did y'all know there was a Spotify that has all of the music?
I did not.
There's a Spotify channel for this. I just found that out today.
I did not. I will. Yeah. Oh my God. Ooh, 3 more episodes of the show, but this is the last chat. Oh my God. Yeah, it's gonna be sad. It's gonna be sad when it ends. Okay. Anything else anyone want to say while we're here? We're good.
Thank you for convening this space.
I wanted to ask you a question. Like, what is it about Molly that people are like, yo,
What is it about Molly? All right, this.
I want to hear.
What is it about Molly? For me, was just the decisions. I used to try to pride myself by saying, I'm not judgmental. I don't judge people. And then I see Molly, I just judge the hell out of Molly. Like, oh, why are you going back with him? Why, like, what? Like, I get really into my inner conservative person when I see Molly. I just do. I'm just being honest. Like, I just do. Like her interactions with men, okay, and then she goes to therapy. You think she's fixed it, then it's like she's relapsing. I think she just too real. The character's just too real. And I think I want a form of like escapism, like, oh, that problem is solved. I grew up watching sitcoms, Full House, Family Matters and stuff like that, where they solve problems and you never hear about the problems again. So, well, Molly is like, yo, why are you still doing that? It's probably a mirror. That's probably what it is. I was like, look at that mirror.
Roger, Ariel and I had the same conversation because I'm like, why does Issa trigger me so much?
Right.
She gets on my nerves because, she grows and then she, backslides and then she grows and then she. So I'm like, it's a mirror because I know I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
I think Kerry Washington, and many of the other actors that have directed the episode with Molly have really pulled out Yvonne Orji onto our screen, that realistic depiction of Molly. I hope she gets nominated for another Emmy. I just think she's going to another level with her acting, and
Oh my God. So to me, she kept me, I was repulsed by her. I was drawn to her. She kept me in the show though, for sure. I was most invested in her character by far. I was most invested in what is Molly on now? Who she with? Oh.
I can see you, Roger, yelling at the TV like, don't go in there. I can see you.
The bathroom, when I say that was the season finale, when I say that bathroom sex with Dro, when I say I took that personally, like, yo, like I'm never watching that show ever again. Like I was saying that for months. I was just like, no, she took me to such a dark place. It's like,
I'm with you. I couldn't. And if you remember, like we had the conversation that I couldn't, there was no way for me to make amends with like the Molly in my head who has like such high standards, who has certain things, knowing that she knew his wife. Remember, because they show her like, I completely agree.
He was there. She was there. She was in the other room. She was there. Okay. All right.
With you. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back.
I mean, I watched every episode. Like the last week I watched, because I remember when we were filming last week, I forgot her name. Yasi was saying, oh, I'm Team Molly. She's been through so much. And I'm like, wait, what am I not getting from Molly? I literally watched every single episode and I'm like, wait, I still don't get it. Like, what is it that people are just so, because to me, she's so abrasive. To me, she's so like, quick to just cut people off. Like she brings these things on herself. Like even the men that were treating her, other than Dro, because Dro was terrible, but like I'm just like, yo, girl, you bring these things on yourself. Like you're too picky or not picky enough, or like she just could not find the middle ground. So to me, I was just like, I need to ask this question because I don't get it. But her fashion, that girl could dress.
I think for me, I identify with Molly in so many ways. Like, I love how they show her navigating work, romance, family life. I identify with many of the ways that she shows up, right? And she has to always process, how do I present myself in a way that's meaningful, that allows me to represent myself the best way I can? Because she's talked about that, how she always has to be on, right? So I see the humanity in her character, even when she's, as you said, going through and all these things. I see her as a human character, and that I think people resonate with that.
Yo, the question of the
I
breakout.
literally stopped watching.
You stopped watching. Go ahead, Ariel. You stopped watching.
Sorry, I literally stopped watching it after. I think it was episode 3, season 1, episode 3, when she got into the league. I stopped watching it because of Molly, because I was like, you just dumped Jared so you could get into the league. I was like, this show is not for me. And I kid you not, I was like maybe like 6 months later when Marie and a couple other ladies were talking about it, and I was like, what show are y'all talking about? And I was like, oh no. And they're like, you gotta watch it. And then that's when I got back on and I caught up. And because I was just like, I'm done with it. I put it down forever, and I stood in my decision to put it down, because Molly, what you out here? No, that's trash. You're not gonna be like this. And so like even going through, like my brother was team Molly, and I'm like, you're stupid. This doesn't make sense. Like, how'd you even get here in life? You know, it doesn't make sense to me. So I never saw it. And this season I was ready to hate her. And then she comes through as this whole gem, and I'm like, Molly, there you are.
Molly been a gem.
You are.
Molly been a gem. Molly, but we see, I think, a full of. She's always been that dependable person.
Amber,
maybe
you
I'm going
trying.
to.
Amber, you really trying for your girl, but nah,
Who has?
Molly has never.
Not the same Molly. No.
Molly has been rude and disrespectful sometimes, and just like all about her.
She don't want nobody
it
to
shows
win if
up.
she ain't winning.
Same thing that Kikwa said. I just think it shows up differently from her than some of the other ladies. I think because Issa could be passive aggressive, rude, right? Same thing with some of the other people. I'm with okay.
She's a lot.
I mean, I know a few Mollies in real life where they're a boss at work, but a hot mess outside of work. Like you just don't, their life is just all over. It could be me too, probably. I don't know. But I just don't want to consider myself a boss at work. But yes, they have it all together, cleaned up, doing it. But at home, relationships are a mess.
I see what you're saying. Okay. So maybe this season Kikwa is where she's bringing it together, where she's walking what she has ascribed to be, right? Is coming into fulfillment more. So I see the distinction of what you're saying.
Yeah.
We'll see. Once Dro pop back up, boy, we gonna see. Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to see Dro again, but whatever. We'll see. But we're talking about the breakout star. I would like my thing with Molly, I would like her to be the breakout star from Insecure, but I can't see her playing anything other than Molly. To me, she's Molly forever. I was just watching this interview with Braxton from the Jamie Foxx show, and he was talking about people see him on the street, they say, "Hey, Braxton," right? I just think that's going to be Molly, right? And I don't know. I want to have the greatest career ever and be a movie star and all the things, but in my brain, like she is so Molly to me, I just couldn't see her, playing, a foster mom or, what I'm saying, a disabled gymnast or whatever she wants to do to test her chops. She's going to be Molly forever for me.
Lawyer to foster mom. Wow.
Yeah.
A disabled gymnast?
That's a huge spectrum.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Whatever she tries to be, she will. I don't know, but at any rate, yeah. Okay. I guess we got it all out. And so, yo, man, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the people in the chat for sure. And then everyone on this call, everyone that's participated on a call, not just this season, but last season as well. Listen, subscribe to the Tribe, Awkward Black Tribe on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel, like all the videos, and drop comments. Email awkwardblacktribe@gmail.com. Listen, I got an email list. I let people know things when we have these chats. And then also we're going to have we're going to start having some meetings in person in 2022. Already, we're definitely going to the Black Joy Parade in Oakland, California in late February. So that's going down. Hey, listen, Marie, much love. Appreciate you coming through and showing your face. Always love that. Adwa A Boogie, DC in the building. Appreciate you for being on the call. And Amber came through, soon to be maybe PhD in the building. We might Dr.
Yeah.
Dr. Amber? Dr. Amber?
Yeah. I'll be a PhD candidate next week. So that means I can start conducting my dissertation research and I'll be close. Yeah.
You got a book you want to plug now? You got
girl.
Okay, all right. I'm saying
Okay, Black excellence. Okay.
Look out for
For all the Mollies out there.
There you go.
We got Ariel. We got Ariel who's being shy in the beginning, but we get to see Ariel. Shout out, Ariel. Appreciate your perspective. Kikwa in the building. Yes, indeed. Yes. As always, Kikwa dropping gems. Your take is always appreciated. And the man, the pilot on the ground or miles up in the air, we have Jason DeWitt, of course. Appreciate you too, sir. All right, man. I am Roger Porter. It's been real. Listen, man. Hey, subscribe to the tribe, y'all. Subscribe to the tribe. And I'm out. That's it. Peace,
Can
y'all.
we say thank you before you stop? Thank you so much for
Fine.
sharing all this, Roger. It was because of
Dr.
you,
Dr.
because
Roger
we was able to
Porter.
get there. Thank you for putting this all together weekly, dedicating your time, listening to us vent. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for bringing this.
Oh, see, she's being consistent. See, telling a black man.
Come on. And we see you, Dr. Roger Porter, your excellence, the skill with which you outline the conversation, keep us going. It's on full display. We recognize it. Thank you.
You're an awesome moderator. Thank you so much. And thank you for the opportunity to come on here and share my views. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for fostering this space. It's very much appreciated and much needed. Trust.
Flowers. I'm getting flowers. That was one of my New Year's resolutions.
You deserve that, Roger.
Appreciate it, to learn how to take compliments. So I'm going to receive this.
Yes. Embrace your dopeness. Let's all do that. Embrace it.
Let it manifest. Yes. Amen.